How you doing, Sam Tolley? Um, there are two principles, or shall I say that there are two things that govern every aspect of our lives. One is religion and the other is politics. There is nothing in our life that isn't controlled by one or the other. Every aspect of our life has to deal with either religion or politics. The government forces that encompass most of what we do, or the theological realm in which we believe or do not believe. Between the two, everything is governed by it. Now, those of us that are Christians that believe the Word of God from the Bible understand that God created man, He created woman, and that there are very strong moral laws that we should never violate. And one of them is murder. And one of the most horrendous things about murder is killing the unborn. And we do a lot of that throughout the world and the United States. But two of our politicians that I want to highlight today seem to think that it is okay to murder the unborn, and at the same time claim to be people of faith. Let's look at Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, the third person in line of succession, which means that if the President of the United States were to die, the Vice President would take over. And if the President died and the Vice President died, then the Speaker of the House would take over. Well, Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House. And after Nancy Pelosi, I want to take a look at something that Kamala Harris said, the second in line to the presidency. And by the way, the president himself, Joe Biden, is also for killing the unborn in the womb. Look at Nancy Pelosi.
Speaker, there's a bill before the House that would prohibit taxpayer-funded abortion. It's been brought by Republicans 37 times for a vote on the House floor, but has been blocked by Democrats. Can you explain why?
Well, that's in the law for Medicaid. You're talking about Medicaid. That's in the law. What we have in our bill is to overturn that.
So from this clip, we see that the Republicans blocked taxpayer-funded abortion 37 times. The Republican Party, the party that isn't supposed to be for the poor, according to the Democrats, they tried to stop the unnecessary killing of the unborn and using taxpayer money to do it. By the way, the Republican Party's platform for many years now has supported the life of the unborn, whereas the Democratic Party's platform believes in the opposite, killing the unborn. And it's stated in their platform. Look it up for yourself.
There's no need to have that. That is the law now.
And the reasons why to have it overturned?
Because it's an issue of health of many women in America, especially those in lower income situations and in different states. And it is something that has been a priority for many of us a long time.
Nancy Pelosi claims that abortion is a health care issue. Let me ask a simple question. When has the necessity to kill someone became a health care issue? Democrats love to twist words and the meaning of words. Like they use words like pro-choice when they're actually talking about killing the unborn. And they want to say that women's abortion rights are health care issues. Give me a break. So, she also stresses that it's a health care issue that benefits the poor and the underprivileged. These people are about killing the poor and the underprivileged.
As a devout Catholic and mother of 5 in 6 years, I feel that God blessed my husband and me with our beautiful family, 5 children, 6 years almost to the day. But that may not be what we should, it's not up to me to dictate that that's what other people should do. And it's an issue of fairness and justice for poor women in our country.
And she has the audacity to talk about how she's the mother of 5. Well, they got these birth care places, abortionaries, in minority areas. They don't have nowhere where Nancy lives, where the rich white Catholics live. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not a Catholic. And I know that Catholics do not believe, or at least the policy is not to indulge or believe in the killing of the unborn. Nancy Pelosi herself got in trouble with her archbishop behind this nonsense. So the Catholic faith believes in the sanctity of life. But here this woman is claiming to be a faithful Catholic, believes in the destruction of life, and thinks that it's okay with God. And that God blessed her family. Well, which God are we talking about? Because certainly the God of the Bible is not for the destruction of life. He says it clearly in Psalms 139, starting at verse 13. For it was you who created my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. The you is God himself. I will praise you because I have been remarkably and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know this very well. My bones were not hidden from you when I was made in a secret, when I was formed in the depths of the earth. God formed us all, starting with this little guy here, going into the woman, and he made us in secret. God did that. But this woman who claims that she supports God is against that, or is against that for everyone. She staunchly supports being able to kill the unborn. Let's look on to what Kamala had to say.
So we're going to see. I've convened faith leaders.
Now, Kamala said she's talking to faith leaders, but she didn't say what they were. Were they Christians, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, what? Faith in what? Faith in whom? Because the God of the Bible, which I just clearly enunciated a little while ago, creates life. There are many other scriptures we can go into where it talks about thou shalt not commit murder and sacrificing your unborn to Baal or Moloch, which are abominations to God. So what do these faith leaders she's talking about believe in?
And, for those of us of faith, I think that we agree, many of us, that there's nothing about this issue that will require anyone to abandon their faith or change their faith.
Then she goes on to say that there's nothing about abortion that would require us to abandon our faith or change our faith. Once again, what faith is she talking about? She cannot be talking about Christianity unless she's talking about people that I would call CINOs, Christian in name only. People who do not really adhere to the principles of the Bible. Because Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. So, there's many people running around here talking about how much they love Jesus. But they love Jesus on their own terms, not his. And if you don't love him on his terms, your love means nothing. You're like that person that came to the wedding and got kicked out. That person that in the day of judgment, and they said, Lord, Lord, I did this and I did that. And he says, I never knew you.
It's simply saying that the government should not have the ability to decide what an individual does with her own body.
Then she goes on to say that the government does not have the ability to say what an individual does with their body, or shouldn't have the ability to say that. Well, that's a flat-out lie. The government says a lot about what we can and cannot do with our body. I cannot take my clothes off and walk down the street buck naked. The government will come and get me. I cannot use my body and force it on someone else's body that doesn't want it. The government will come and get me. I cannot take my body, leave my home, and go take things that don't belong to me. The government will come and get me. There are plenty of things that the government says